feel like I'm finally getting like some semblance of fitness after 1 month of running super short, like 3 days a week. I am out on this run. I mean, I'm not going fast by any means, but like I'm actually able to just run without feeling like my heart rate is just gonna like skyrocket. I still have to be careful on hills. When you're fit, you climb a hill, you know, maybe you slow down a little bit, but you maintain your pace. Your heart rate recovers pretty quickly afterward. When you're out of shape, even if you slow down and like try not to let your heart rate get too jacked, the problem is that you just like can't recover. So I still have to be really careful on like bigger uphills, because otherwise my heart rate will just be sky high the rest of the run. But yeah, I finally feel like I'm opening up the stride a little bit. Feeling good. Today's workout. So I've been really off track with gym stuff, with running too, but I can already hear there's this guy on TikTok that I see, pops up on my feed all the time, he's absolutely insane. Like this guy, he'll be like, oh, are you too tired to go to the gym? Are you too exhausted? And then he does this thing where he like swipes his face and then he looks insane, looks like the Joker, and he's like, get up, get up! So anyway, I'm thinking about that guy today because my bullshit excuses are just that. But we're back in, so we're doing I'm always doing a big warm up for all the lifts that I'm doing right now, just making sure that everything stays healthy and don't, you know, I love lifting, but I do not want to injure myself. I would feel so stupid if I'm trying to run and trying to progress in running and then I injure myself lifting. That'd be so silly. So a couple sets of a circuit. I'm gonna do push-ups with weight, squats, overhead press, walking lunge, which I'll probably do with my kid. I like doing that with him, and he keeps getting heavier, so I keep getting stronger. Curls, abs, and then I'm gonna do some kind of like back and shoulder specific stuff after, but let's get it. My jump rope broke. That's why I'm just hopping like a fucking idiot. Baby, this is Jimmy World. This is Jimmy. All right, dinner tonight is steak, and that's it. That's all. Sinead is shaking her head and laughing at me from behind the camera because she keeps making fun of me for my mono meals. But I'm just finding that, I don't know, I'm finding that like when I eat a very, very simple meal, like just a steak, I feel great. Like the more ingredients, the more complicated a meal becomes, the more unsettled my gut is, just the more like heavy I feel. So even though it's like this big giant steak, and especially the fact that, John, what was I vegan for? Like I was like 95% vegan for like 5 years or something like that.
5 years.
So I know it's like probably the biggest like 180 turn that anybody's ever taken nutritionally, to go from like super plant heavy, you know, almost exclusively vegan, to a 10-ounce ribeye is my dinner. Poochie's happy, to say the least. Real is anxiously awaiting to see what he can get out of this, but Sinead thinks I'm a little ridiculous, so.
I think you're insane. I don't know how you do it.
It's delicious. Steak makes me a man.
Do the sunny bit.
I shouldn't do that too loud. My son is. We're trying to get our kid to sleep. We're working on leaving him in the crib, not staying there and trying to get him to sleep.
I just like to say
I've caught you a few times.
I just like to blow him a kiss before I leave, okay? I'm shocked you didn't do your sunshine.
What would be my sunny bit?
The man thing.
I love quoting Sunny. Sunny's my favorite all-time show, and I love quoting there's a scene where in the dentist system where they They're like, this is what men do. This is what men do. And they're all like,
Like how there's a spindrift just hanging out over here.
we look ridiculous.
Thank you, Jamie.
Don't show the top of our fridge, please.
No.
Don't show the top.
Definitely
Don't
not.
show the top of our fridge.
Definitely not.
I read something where like realtors recommend people like clear off the top of their fridge if they're trying to sell their house because like
Yeah.
having shit on top of your fridge is like poor people stuff.
It's like college kids. Don't look. No. Ow. If we had anywhere else to put it, we would.
I know. Living minimally, my darling. This is gonna be so good, baby. This is it. This is dinner, right here. Sinead hates when I do this, but I'm gonna eat it. Just with this giant, absurdly, comically giant fork, just directly off the cutting board.
Yep.
The great carnivore experiment goes on. So good.
I'm barbarian.
You ready, Poochie? That's my boy. Let's take one to Boo Boo. Sweetheart. Very well deserved. And done. Let's see. Ooh, 1 hour 32 minutes to run 8.17 miles. Man, times have changed. Average pace 11:15, but let's see what the gain was. So there's the kicker. 1,000 feet of elevation gain. That explains the pace. So I love running trails. Trails are just way more fun to me than running roads. Obviously, I'm gonna run a lot of roads and a lot of treadmill once we grab one. But all I could think about throughout that run was, give me 1 year. If I consistently train without any like major hiccups or injuries or anything for 1 year, I'm not saying I'm gonna be like sub 4 fit, but man, I can tell you I'm gonna be really fucking fit. So, you know, the way I look at it, hey, I just ran 8 miles in an hour and a half. That's slow as shit. But 2 months ago, I was barely able to do a walk jog, you know? 2 months ago. 1 month ago, I was barely jogging, 20 minutes at a time. So, I mean, actually pretty excellent progress. Just got to keep making it, keep consistent, stay consistent, not push it too hard too soon. Stay patient with it, but 1 year, baby. So on Saturday, we went to Chattanooga, Tennessee for the Cam Run, which is named after Cameron Bean, a runner who back in September 2015 was hit and killed by a car while out on a run in Chattanooga. Sinead and I both knew him. I'm going to show the start of the men's race. The women's race was awesome. Ali Bukowski, who's one of Sinead's real good friends back from college, from Furman, won the women's race, which was fantastic. But the men's race, you just got to see the start, and then I'm going to say a few words about Cameron once it gets going. Yeah, that was a lightning strike. Took out the power. It was absolutely wild. They gathered the guys back up. It was only 50 meters in, thankfully. They didn't go that long before they had to stop, but they gathered them back up, and they all said they wanted to run. They all said they still wanted to go. So, as you can see, everybody just lined the track with their cell phones, turned on their flashlights. And I mean, there was no light at the track other than a little bit from the buildings back there, but absolutely no light, no stadium lights from the track. So absolutely wild. I've never seen anything quite like it. It was so much fun. So they got the race going. I just wanted to say a few things about Cameron. I mentioned that Sinead and I both knew him from from my time training with him in Greenville. He was with Zap Fitness, so that was the group that Sinead ended up joining after college. They would come during the winter. They would come to Greenville, South Carolina, spend like a month or 6 weeks or so there to get out of the crazy winter in Blowing Rock, North Carolina. And, you know, I did some workouts with him. I partied with him a little bit. All I can say about him was that he was just a radiant life force. Just one of those guys, like, never met a stranger. You know, one of those people who he always had something to say. You know what happens when you're like that? You know, you have people who love you and you have people who don't. But I always respected that. I've always respected someone who's just willing to be themselves unabashedly, you know, unapologetically. And I always enjoyed being around him. I loved his energy. I told Sinead this while we were in Chattanooga, but my all-time favorite Cam story, unfortunately, I cannot tell publicly. I wish I could, but just know that it really shows his free, just fun spirit. He partied every bit as hard as he trained. He was one of those guys, and he was a guy who didn't try to pretend to be something he wasn't. And I always respected that. I've always respected that. He knew who he was. He loved who he was, and he didn't try to be something else. And now his spirit lives on in the Cam run. You know, I mean, the 5K in the morning, they said was a lot of fun. What they do is they take the top 25 people from the 5K in the morning, they invite them to run a mile race that night. And they have a bunch of high school races, and this year they added in the elite races. And I mean, as I just showed you, the men's race was just absolutely incredible. That huge lightning strike. The guys, I love their spirit that they had. They all wanted to run. They all wanted to keep going. They didn't want to just call it a day. You know, even though whoever was in charge of the event almost certainly was hoping that there wasn't any liability issues, but everybody there, they wanted to run, and all the spectators, not a single person left. I didn't see a single person leave the stands or the track. Everyone just lined the track with their cell phones and lit the way for these guys, which was just so much fun. It wound up being an incredible race. You know, Casey Neville-Bard won in 3:59. Craig Ingles was second, and he was just fantastic. I got to give him a quick shout out. He was so great with all the high school kids afterward, you know, who clearly were huge fans of him. He was signing autographs, taking pictures, and this is, again, while a huge storm is coming in and starting. He spent so much time out there with all those kids, and it just made their day, made their year, you could tell. And overall, you know, the race just absolutely lived up to Cameron's memory. I didn't know him that well, but I know that he'd be proud.